Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another post-game live stream, almost midnight Central Time edition of the Missing Lynx post-game live stream podcast thing. I'm Andrew Dukowitz of Zoe Coverage, and Aya Abdeen from pretty much everywhere. The nine other outlets is joining me from Phoenix today. We're going to have kind of a crossover Phoenix Lynx discussion, but Aya, how's it going?
Pretty well. I'm just literally chilling, but I do have to add in as well. Diana Taurasi, Phoenix Mercury legend, told me in April, I've seen you a lot. You've been busy, which you can see like in my cover photo on my Twitter account as well, which Diana Taurasi, she is literally 100% right. So she's right. I'm everywhere. Here I am.
Well, we'll catch up a little bit on chat here right away. Beardy Buddha says, what a butt whooping. Abby Lynx, who remembers the playoffs last year. Dylan, was there a crash out in the semifinals or something? Dylan adds he loves basketball. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. Normally I would say like, man, they must have been like out for revenge or something, but only 4 players on this team were in that Phoenix series. But honestly, I mean,
that's a bloodbath. That's a bloodbath in the Valley tonight.
Yeah,
like it's literally
it looked
hard
like
to
they
tell.
wanted to say something, or it looked like they wanted to send a message, especially Court, who ends up dropping a 30 bomb. But I did want to just start by asking you, like, what have your thoughts been on this Lynx season so far? Like, being away team media, like watching them from afar, I'm assuming. Like, how have you been kind of interpreting what they've been doing this year?
Literally, it's safe to say, if you know Cheryl Reeve so damn well, literally, she has been a mastermind, especially since her assistant coaching days with the Detroit Shock. And now, since taking over the head coaching job from Minnesota in 2010, mind you, I was 7 at the time. Like, you got to give Cheryl Reeve a whole tons of credit for how she has transformed the Lynx franchise, and like especially like the dynasty team that they've been known for in the 2010s. Obviously, I started following the WNBA in 2016, and I celebrated my 10-year anniversary of attending my first Mercury game on May 29, just last Friday. But like, whether you like her, hate her or not, you gotta give Cheryl Reeve a whole ton of credit for how she has transformed and how she's been one of the pioneers when it comes to coaching on the women's basketball side as well. Not to mention she's a former player herself at La Salle. So I just gotta say, Cheryl Reeve, you gotta give her some damn flowers out here, like y'all.
Yeah,
like, I do have to say.
Oh, but keep cooking.
Okay, I'm literally have to cook on the Lynx watch first before literally yapping on the Mercury side as well. But you're gonna look at those stats tonight. Minnesota has outscored Phoenix 50-18 in points in the paint. They have also shot 64% from the field, limiting Phoenix to only 34% as well, which is a recipe to success. Courtney Williams, she literally went full on Diana Taurasi mode. Like the house where Diana Taurasi built, like that's literally insane to see. Like she has an efficiency of 20. And especially Antonia Delaware, she had a most positive efficiency with 23 as well. You got to look at how balanced this Lynx squad is, even though Nafisa Collier hasn't played a single game yet, which is still literally crazy to me. And like you have to say, Olivia freaking Miles, man, she has been so much fun to watch. Like, oh my god, it reminds me so much of Lindsay Whalen. Like, I do have to say, it's like I remember watching Lynx and Mercury games, like attending those growing up, but now getting to see it, like how it has translated as well. Like, man, this Lynx squad is literally so fun to watch. And you add in Natasha Howard, Nia Coffey, and Kayla McBride, who is known for her thunderous 3-point shooting. Like, man, this is a type of roster Cheryl Reeve is literally looking to construct. Like, y'all, it has been impressive. Like, you got to give flowers to Cheryl, man.
Yeah, I mean, I tweeted out a bunch of the like advanced stats yesterday on their defense, and I kind of imagine all of those will get better tomorrow when the stats get uploaded to the WNBA database. But I mean, this was just pretty much just a masterclass. A couple of people mentioned in the chat before we got started here was just, I'm going to be happy because the bench did something. I mean, they scored 36 points. I mean, the bench was excellent.
Yes.
Tony was great, 13.6 assists. I don't think no turnovers. I mean, this is kind of the performance we've been waiting for out of their bench. And I think a little bit of it is McCowan. Picked up 6 fouls, wasn't her like best game as a professional, but things just make more sense with their bench unit when they're not playing Kosu at center. I think the other thing I would just add is, again, like it felt like it was a revenge game, but nobody on this Lynx team was really in that playoff series other than K-Mac and Williams. But it did feel like there was something extra there that they were trying to prove a point to Phoenix, which
I think it's something like
I
that.
mean, I do want to get into
like,
that. I mean, before we get into that though, I just like, where do you think the ceiling is for this Lynx team this year?
High. Literally, the ceiling for this Minnesota Lynx team is high. You're gonna like, I've been literally yapping for like a minute or two straight minutes. Like, mind you, watching this Lynx team is fun, but for the Mercury fans watching their Mercury team, especially with their rebranding, what is going on, man? Like, there is just a whole lot to literally consider. The Mercury just had its 5th worst defeat in franchise history with 35 points. But honestly, how they went from losing some of the key players to like recovering pretty wellly, Cheryl Reeve has to be in conversations for executive of the year. Like, give flowers to her as well. So that's
another scary thing is she's just kind of. I mean, I think it would be her 5th coach of the year and her 3rd or 4th executive
pure
year.
Dominance, literally pure dominance.
And I mean, I do think it helps her too. Like, Alana Smith got benched in Dallas today. Like, that probably goes in Cheryl's favor for an executive of the year run. Natisha Heidemann's been on and off for a pretty bad Storm team. Like, really the only person that's kind of thriving is BC and Shep, which, you know, they deserve that. But I think in the grand scheme of things, those were 2 players that probably deserve to not be the 5th or 6th option on a good team. It's hard to keep coming up with adjectives of how good this team is. And I guess we can just kind of get into it early. I mean, what is going on with the Mercury? Because this is a team that made it to the finals. I think early on in the season, there was some, you know, Okoye was missing and they had some injuries and things like that. Satu obviously leaves. But, like, their core is still there. Like,
yes,
Copper's still there. Thomas is still there. And it just... they looked like they were struggling tonight. Like, not just like struggling against a really good Lynx team, but like struggling as just like figuring out who they are.
Honestly, there is just a lot of roster construction, like, especially with how condensed this offseason was, especially with the timing of the CBA. Honestly, like, I sort of expected the Mercury to have some sort of a slow start, especially considering how they missed Sammy Wickham, who brings in a boost off the bench for this Mercury team as well. Looking at Kalia Copper, like, she's been having like a shooting slump as well. Like, tonight she just went 5 for 13 and just scored 18 points before not having played in the 4th quarter. Alyssa Thomas, she was just limited to 6 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. Like, she is known to be a triple-double machine. The only one of the bright spots is Natasha Mack. Like, how she's been attacking the board and how she's been poised to have a breakout season is what really stands out to me from this year's Mercury team. But they're like looking on to
AT, though. Like, just to add
looking at the rest of the roster, I basically have a lot of questions. Like,
Yeah.
since Brittany Griner left in free agency and Diana Taurasi announced her retirement last year, there was just a whole lot of cultural shift, in my opinion, even though they unexpectedly made it to the finals last year. And then now subtract Satu and probably how their approach to free agency as well, they have went radio silent from the words of Dylan Kane of the Nine Sports. Literally, they went radio silent. Like, it's
Even
just
like AT
pretty
tonight, though.
disappointing to see how it's
Like AT
disappointing
goes 1
to
of
see
6
how
from the floor, gets 3 turnovers. Like, I'll be completely honest. I haven't been watching a ton of Mercury basketball this year, except for the 2 times, this time and the time earlier the Lynx played them. But like 3 turnovers and only 6 shots seems really odd for Alyssa. Is this just kind of how her season has been going, or is the Lynx just an issue for her now?
Honestly, the Lynx has been like an issue. Like, you can see how they have struggled in the spacing, in which Kalia Copper told reporters tonight, which Stephen Prejean Garner of PHNX asked about something like, it felt like the offense just kind of had some speed bumps that they were working through in the recent times. What were you saying just from their perspective of maybe what wasn't working and how the team has countered that? Kalia Copper said, I thought offensively, our spacing wasn't great early on, and then I just thought we needed to play harder offensively. I mean, we know what we have to do. We get it all side to side, but we miss a lot in the paint, and then sitting them down in transition, not being matched up, not swinging back. And then John Garner followed up with a question. Some of these same issues come back into turnover that they had in the first half too. And then Copper said, the turnover goes into the space, and like I said before, just giving teams in some space. They were overhelping a lot, but they were able to overhelp and still get back in some cases because of our spacing. But that's something we can clean up. And obviously, there's just a whole lot of volume that there's a whole lot of work the Phoenix Mercury has to work in order to get into the defensive team that they were once known for last year. Like, there is just no words about what the fans has saw tonight. Especially like how the house was literally stacked, and then now losing by 35 points in the house Diana Taurasi built. It's hard to watch, especially like in my 10 years of following or covering the Mercury. I've literally never seen anything like this. Like, this is just really bad. Like, this is just one of the all-time disastrous performances on both ends.
You mentioned the spacing, and like that is something that, like, I do think Satu gave you guys a lot of, at least like when things collapsed, you could just get it to Satu and she'd just get a bucket or muscle in. She could shoot from deep. And without her, I mean, Thomas and Max both don't attempt a 3, which, like, Thomas isn't a 3-point shooter. But, when you have 2 players on the court in your starting lineup that aren't even attempting one, though, I mean, I just got done watching a Wolves season where just Rudy Gobert not shooting 3s can tank a team. It really is. I don't know what they do to fix it. And again, I'm not going to sit here and say like I've watched a ton of Mercury basketball, but like it just seems like their offense is so stuck in the mud because there just isn't anything they can really do other than just Alyssa Thomas kind of save us, which she's done that her whole career, so I'm not going to rule against it. But I mean, I guess, like, what do you feel like their offense needs to do different?
Honestly, like, they can live or die by the threes, but they have to get more aggressively into scoring the paint, which they basically outscored. They were outscored 50-18, which was a key matchup to the win. Like, Minnesota, they've gotten so aggressive in scoring the paint, which it led to a whole massive success in winning tonight as well. And like the Mercury, they gotta be more consistent in like the ball passing, and especially like making the 3-pointers as well. Like they were limited to 37%, which they shot 10 for 27 from the field. And then Minnesota, on the other hand, they made 10 of 17 3-pointers, and Courtney Williams literally went perfect from the 3-point line tonight. So the Mercury has to be better in in taking care of the ball, which they had like 6 in the first quarter, which is literally unacceptable. And then I also asked Nate Tibbetts where accountability starts for a performance like tonight and what specific defensive issues concern him the most in this moment. He literally said a lot of defensive issues in that game. You know, defense wins championships. Like a game like this isn't going to get this team where they need it to be. Like, in my 10 years of following and covering the Mercury, have I seen anything like this? Like, this has been such an awful performance on both ends of the court. Like, you got to give credit to Minnesota for how they've been capitalizing on both ends of the court as well. So, like,
and that's kind of where I think at one point during the game I tweeted out, like, I'm not sure how much Minnesota can learn from this game, because it just like, it looked like the wheels came off for Phoenix early, and then Minnesota just crushed it, which that's kind of what this year's iteration of the Lynx event. Like last year, there was a running meme going around of like the Lynx F around for 3 quarters, and then boom, there's like a 10-0 run and they blow them out. This year, it's like there is a take no prisoners type of mentality with this Lynx team, where like if they get a 10-point lead, they're going to get a 20-point lead. They have, I think it's 5 wins in a row, and 3 of them have been by like 20 points or more. Like they are just blowing teams out. So I look at it from the Lynx side, and it's like, yep, they got their offense going in the first quarter. They only had 1 turnover. They had 3 turnovers going into the half. Shooting the ball, it was going in. And then it's just kind of like, how do the Mercury respond? Which I think that's what I was kind of disappointed by, was just like there never really was that response, which I think that's kind of what I'm hearing from you too, is just like it's disheartening when the team you're covering just kind of like doesn't punch back. Which Nate Pence pops in the chat here saying good game to get Tony and Kosu going. And
I agree, Nate.
This is a good time for an ad read, so let's go right over to Nate Pence for an ad read. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard, and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. Just want to catch up on chat a little bit more, because Nate Pence loves that Phoenix never punched back. Pack mentality. You were with me through the entire Wolves season. This is the most jarring thing of going from Lynx coverage to Wolves coverage, is just like the difference in like seriousness that they play with. Like the Lynx, for all of the issues the Wolves had and all of the throwing under the bus at the end of the season that they did, like they didn't take things seriously. And like the most refreshing thing of just jumping into a Lynx season is that they take everything seriously. Like there is not a minute on the court where they don't care, which it's just delightful. I know a lot of people this week, because Cheryl's been getting some love, were tweeting out that Cheryl should just coach both franchises. I'm kind of like in the why not type. Like
that's a good idea.
Bo Jackson can play football and baseball. Like why not? But I don't know. She does have a kid. She probably wants to spend time with. Also adds waiting for the Mercury, but they didn't go on one. Jude adds Phoenix has an average age of almost 30. They need some fresh energy.
I agree.
Lynx average point differential is plus 12. Next highest are Dallas and Golden State at plus 6.2.
That's impressive. That's what That's what Cheryl Reeve was talking about. Shout out to the one and only Hayden Silly for asking Cheryl Reeve about the net point differential in the pregame, in which she has made such good points about, like how she has seen like a comparison from the past 2 seasons in 2024, 2025 to like this year, like with 2026, like how they have brought in like some of the familiar faces while like continuing to basically construct the roster for the future, like adding in Olivia Miles. Like she reminds me so much of Lindsay Whalen. Like look at the coaching staff Cheryl Reeve has built as well, with former legends who have basically paved the way as well. So like basically like the Mercury, they still have a lot of work to do as well. And I literally do have to
and
say,
again, I'm not like super familiar with the Mercury's like what they have for picks and stuff. Like, do they have an opportunity to pivot, or are they kind of just this is their roster?
So Alyssa Thomas has said on Friday, the tides will turn. Like I don't know if they're gonna have a turnaround season like that, but I know it's really early in the season. They're still, figuring some of the things out. And which Kalia Copper also told Hayden Silly about how she does not let the team morale continue to go down. Copper said, "I lost 7 straight. I won a championship, so that's what's in my mind right now. I mean, I do want to come out of it, but just every day I'm not falling into the record and what that says and whatever. We have to continue to hold the standard of what it takes to be a championship team and what it took for us to do last year. It's not easy. It just doesn't carry on just because you did it. So for us, it's about everybody looking in the mirror. I told him this before, like everybody is here for a reason. Everybody has a job to do, and it's like a puzzle. Everybody's got to do what they bring to the team, whatever that is, and you got to bring it every single month. So that's where we are right now. So Kalia Copper has made some pretty good points as well. And Lexi Held, she also said when it comes to her return to the team. And she said the last 24 hours has been a lot of support, a lot of just love, encouragement from the families, which always feel great. It really does feel like a home here to me, and I'm really excited to be back with everybody. This feels we're going through a little bit of a low right now, but it's a lot of the same people, and that's the locker room last year, and you know what we're capable of. So continuing to find a way to stick together, I'm really excited for the opportunity. I know I'm a little bit fresh on the scene, but I have a lot of faith in this group and these coaches in this organization. So to me, I'm straight would be here. So for me, I know it's basically a long season, but maybe it's just me. I might be throwing in a hot take. Phoenix Mercury having a lottery draft pick next year, that could be pretty interesting to think about as well. There could be some of the new talent that could be coming in, like Hannah Hidalgo, Juju Watkins, Audie Crooks, and literally so much more. So I know it's a lot of time, but it could be time to hit a panic button for this Mercury team and probably start from like a scratch up. I don't know, but basically looking at how the Mercury have made one of the best decisions in drafting Diana Taurasi first overall in 2004, and she had this longevity for 20 seasons. And since her retirement, seeing how this Mercury squad, like specifically this year, how they have fallen off the hooks is really disappointing, to basically say the least. Oh, Amanda, you have said they add Hidalgo and the rivalry never ends. That could be pretty spicy. Like
yeah,
that could
Miles Hidalgo
Hannah
at a
Hidalgo is
rivalry
known
for the next decade would be
for
fun.
the steals. Like she has been literally everywhere. That's one of the players, Diana Taurasi and Byers, especially, like they're in the same agency as well. So that could be like a pretty decent addition for this Mercury squad next year. But I don't want to get too early into that. So
it does feel like, I mean, they've played what, 10 games now? Yeah, they're 2-8.
Yes, 10 games.
I mean, it does feel like, almost a quarter of the way through the season. You probably have another like 7 or 8 games to see where this season goes. Like, I feel like once you get to that 1/3 mark, it gets hard to just like, let's say they're like 3-16. Like, it's probably hard at that point, almost 20
Right.
games in, to justify like not going for a draft pick. At the same time, it's like, again, Alyssa Thomas, you don't want to waste a year of somebody's career at this stage. Like,
Right.
Bonner's still like a really well-respected player. Like, do you want to waste a year of her career? Like, Copper is still, like, she's not super young either. They're just in a weird spot, which
It's
I think that's
bizarre
why it's been so
here.
jarring from the outside, is just like everything about their team, even from like Nate as the coach, is like a win now type of thing. And then they're just not winning. And a few of
It's
these
just a
games have been close.
disastrous. Like, I
Yeah.
don't even know how to get into, too many of those details. But, Andrew, thank you for having me on, which is like literally a perfect time for me to hop on and literally yap about what the heck is wrong with this Mercury team. Like, since since the start of the season, like, they think that they're gonna go back to the finals, but after that 33-point win over the Las Vegas Aces on May 9th, they literally flipped the switch. Like, mind you, they literally flipped the switch. So
I mean, 1-8 since that kind of blowout.
It's
just to add some more, the WNBA updated their stats. So the Lynx are now third in offense, first in defense by 3 points in the defensive rating. They almost have double the Dallas Wings net rating. I can't remember who said it. Someone said, Jeremy, appreciate you popping by, but said, Lynx still have a lot to fix. The thing that I and people who have listened to me for a while know that there are just certain things that I look at when I'm evaluating teams, and certain things that just stick with me. They are second worst in the W in assist percentage, just 0.4% ahead of Toronto. And like, that's just not good. Like 62% assist percentage kind of inflects. There's a lot of ISO play. There's a lot of like put back shots that are going in, especially for a Lynx team that's historically closer to like 74-75%. Their assist to turnover ratio is also like 1.39, which is, sixth in the league. But if it dropped a 100th of a point, they drop down to ninth. Like, there are some things that I think, the Lynx, it isn't all just like roses. You know what I mean? Like, there are some things they do need to clean up. It's just a lot of those things I think get considerably better when Fee is back. I mean, the assist percentage is going to get significantly better when you have Fee shooting 60% from inside the arc and like 40% from three. The ball movement probably gets better. You don't have K-Mac getting doubled. Like, it's really hard, Jeremy, to kind of go off of what you had pointed out there. It's really hard to not see this team being a sustained winner, though. Like, being the best defense in the league is not going to change when Fee comes back. Like, there's not like
to do.
Right. Like, they're going to get better on that end. They're going to get more gelled. The things that they have to fix are more of like, assist percentages are usually low when you don't know any of your teammates. You don't know what their tendencies are. And I think you see some of that with like Liv is able to figure some stuff out, but like K-Mac and Court's, creation hasn't been as good. Catching up a little bit more, Jeremy adds, we need to defend the 3-point line. We allowed the Dream to last week. Yeah. I mean, that's the other side of it is I think until they get feedback, they're a pretty, it seems like they're just giving up threes or giving up long twos and living with it because they just feel like the odds will even out. I do think Fee helps with a lot of that. I also think like Dorka helps with a lot of that. It's raining hen. Appreciate you. Poor Mac. She's taking the brunt of the defense while Fee is out. Yeah, she is. Can't remember what the exact percentage was. I'm not going to look it up right now, but she was in the top 5 for like most double teamed in the league, which we love K-Mac, but for her to be one of the most double teamed players in the league is wild. It's just, it's going to be interesting because this team seems like they have a more sustainable foundation than a lot of other teams in the league, especially you look at, Dallas is a lot of fun right now, but they're also trying to figure it out. Indiana seems like they're one day it's a mutiny, the next day they're doing fine. Vegas hasn't quite figured it out. New York was like 12th in power rankings the other day. Like it really seems like this is another season where the Lynx have just decided they're going to take the regular season crown and no one's going to do anything about it, which I'm not complaining. It's great content, but
Right.
I do hear your concerns though of like you don't want it to be another thing where they just coast through the regular season and then get punched in the playoffs like Phoenix did, and you're just not able to recover the same way.
Honestly,
I guess what I would kind of like to finish on is just with Phoenix, like when do you hit that panic button and start talking about like AT trades or start talking about like what can you get on the market for some of these players? Because I mentioned it a little bit ago, like I'm still probably 10 games out from that, but like I can't imagine AT would want to be on like a tanking team. That just seems to go against everything she stands for.
honestly, I would hit the panic button right now. Especially like I know how Kalia Copper has mentioned that she has lost 7 straight before and she has won a championship with Chicago in 2021. And then especially with Alyssa Thomas, like she also had a rough start when she was with Connecticut in 2020, and then she led the Sun to an appearance in the semifinals, and they lost in 5 games to the Las Vegas Aces as well. So I know from my perspective, I would definitely hit the panic button, as I know that they're still figuring some things out. But for me, it might be time to hit the panic button. Looks like it is. But one
Especially
of
when
the
there's
bright
teams that are
sides
so
for me
bad.
next year is having that lottery draft pick, as I mentioned, and that could be one of the building pieces into the future as well. Focusing on setting the standard, like setting up for a successful future. That's what I've been envisioning since Diana Taurasi's retirement as well. So, like I could imagine like the Mercury pivoting more towards a rebuild in the future, like focusing on getting some of the lottery draft picks, getting some of the young players that they could basically rely on, and then like focus on developing the draft. That could be something to like recipe to success.
Dustin asks here, any rumblings about Nate's job?
No words to say the least, but I remembered getting to basically observe Nate Tippett's post game, in which he has told Shay Young, who is a Phoenix Mercury digital reporter, he said, "I got to take a look at the film when it comes to seeing the defensive issues that needs to be corrected." And then Tippett, on the other hand, he also said there wasn't a lot of work in the whole night. We were a step slow. We didn't do a good job playing on the second side. It was a tough one. So honestly, like knowing how he went from the top 4 to like now figuring out there's some things like sitting 14th/15th in the standings. What the heck is going on I don't even know what to say, but it's just Nate Tippett has to take a whole lot of accountability, and it starts with him, starts with practice, and basically the players like getting better and taking accountability on the defensive end as well. So that's literally all I have to say.
Bella, I want to get to your comment here before we get out, just asking about Fee and Dorka and when their returns are expected. Dorka, it popped up in a pregame notebook report thing that she was listed as out for 2 or 3 weeks. You are absolutely right that would put her at a return of like June 11th if it was closer to that 3 weeks mark. I'll be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's before that. She's been out of the boot now for, I want to say, like 2 weeks. I mean, she's wearing shoes in practice. I don't think she's like a full go in practice, but I think she's closer than farther, if that makes sense. Like we're going to have practice availability on Thursday or on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. So I'll pop over there and, bug everybody about it. Raining Hen also adds she wore heels the other day. Yep. Like, again, if you have a foot strain, probably not wearing heels if that thing is not healing right, pun intended. I think Dorka for sure is a couple weeks. Fee's a little bit more of a mystery because we got the update at the beginning of the season. She'd be returning to basketball activities at the beginning of June. Beginning of the June is a very subjective wording. It can mean June 12th is technically the beginning of June. It could mean yesterday was the beginning of June. I will say that, I mean, Fee has been looking pretty good. She was a couple times in practice over the last week and a half here. She's been getting up shots with trainers afterwards. Looks like she is engaged with most of the team stuff. Cheryl says she's progressing well. I don't think she's like a practice participant yet. Like, I don't think she's quote unquote like doing all of the things, but I would be surprised if Fee isn't back in the next 2 weeks for sure. Like,
yeah,
maybe
I
if
second that.
I mean, again, it's one of those things where it's like if the Lynx go out and win every game they win another 5 in a row and they're sitting at 12-2. Like, if Fee's 100%, you can't just like keep her off of the court. So I really think it's just going to be more of when medical clears her to return. A couple of people asked just like, what do we expect from her when she comes back? Can still shoot a basketball when you have bad ankles. So I expect her to probably need a little bit of conditioning work and probably has a couple gaffes where it's, you know, passes out of bounds, not reading her teammates right, that type of stuff. But like, Fee was putting up 50, 40, 90 with no ankles last year.
Oh, yes, which is
I
impressive.
kind of expect her to come back and be just like, not just like the Fee that we've seen, but like within a week or two, she's probably back to that like point a minute type of thing that we've seen from Fee.
Right.
I do want to give you space though, because we're almost to that 40-minute mark. Thank you so much for coming on first off.
Thank you.
Where can people find you on social media? Where can they read your written work? Please plug everything and anything.
So my Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky handles are Aya Abdeen. So it's like IAYABDEEN. My initials are AA batteries basically, and I also have sports pages at Aya Abdeen Sports, which is like only one, but it's also like on Instagram, and you can also find me on TikTok at Aya Abdeen, so which is also like on my handle as well. And I also cover Phoenix Mercury for the Podium Finish. I'm a contributor writer for the Night Sports, which I have been since my sophomore year of college in December 2022. So I want to like appreciate Howard Megdal for giving a chance of me to developing my skills as a writer and reporter. Not to mention that my first WNBA game I covered was in 2023, in which Diana Taurasi became the first player in WNBA history to score 10,000 points. So that was like a little welcome gift for me. So like you can find me like anywhere, you know.
I think my first game covering the Lynx had like 11 turnovers in the first half, and the first
That's
thing
a
I ever asked
disaster.
Cheryl was like, what's going on with all these turnovers against Seattle?
Oh my god.
'Cause I think they set the record in their first home game of 2024. So the first thing I ever asked her was like, what are we doing here? Like, this is obnoxious. Anyways, thank you again, Aya, for coming on. For anybody that joined in this late, does get posted up on YouTube and Twitter as soon as I end the stream. You can find it anywhere you get your podcasts tomorrow morning. Well, this morning, I guess we're past midnight.
And once again, I apologize if I sneezed at a random time while you.
Oh no, you're fine. I didn't even notice it if you did. For people that are still in here, though, I am recording a bonus episode with Sloan Martin. Lynx play-by-play, TV, does everything. And then Sarat Sohi is joining me Thursday before the game to do another bonus episode. So we'll have a couple extra things coming out. But thank you, everyone, for listening. We'll catch you tomorrow.
See you.